All right. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Good morning to Angie. Good morning to Adam as well over in Bloomington, Indiana there. Hope you guys are doing all right. Wave meteorologist Brian Good. Welcome to Storm Talk, the weather blog, where we usually have an opportunity to talk more beyond just the couple minutes that we get on TV about storm systems coming our way. Sometimes there's a lot to talk about, and sometimes there's not much at all. Those days are usually more in the summer, though, when it's sunny and 90 like every single day, nonstop. And in the wintertime, we're like busy. At least we're supposed to be busy. Past few winters have not been, but maybe next year. Maybe next year. I hope you guys are doing well, though. It wasn't a horrible day yesterday. I know it was cloudy and gloomy. We have flurries flying around. Did anyone make a pot of chili? That was my suggestion. Hopefully you had a chance to do that. Do some chores inside. Just take it easy. In general, today we're back to some sunshine. There is a hidden danger that I need to cover today that we'll get through. And then we'll talk about at least some small rain chances. But overall, rain chances or snow chances, for that matter, really are not going to be the front runner in topic until we get to next week. Next week looks to be a little more on the dynamic side for sure as we head down the road. So if you have any questions along the way, let me know. Hopefully I'll be able to answer all of them, though, in the process. Good morning, Angela and Hope and Dave and Jean. I hope all is well there in Carrollton after some scary storms there last week, right? Okay, let's start with what do I have first? Oh, yeah. Well, this is important. We got to start with this. That is, of course, the countdown to begin spring. Now, look, I'm a snow lover. You guys know that. But at this point, I'm kind of to the point of, do you guys like that sound? Or are you one of those people like me that's trying to take a nap and this is the sound you hear? And then I end up going around and trying to take the batteries out of all the clocks. That's how I was as a kid. I couldn't handle that tick-tock sound, so I'm turning that off. All right. 13 hours. So, yes, it is the first day of spring, is what you're hearing right now on a lot of, social media and TV channels. But technically, it's not. Technically, it's not spring yet. Until tonight, during the 11 o'clock news, we will officially be able to say spring. So tomorrow will be the first full day of the spring season. All right. So 13 days, 13 hours of winter left. So try to, soak it up as much as we can here as we do this afternoon, because it doesn't look like it. It's going to be warmer outside. We'll be into the 50s. So we'll take that. Plenty of sunshine at the moment. I mentioned that hidden danger. Well, you can't really see it too well on a lot of the satellites just yet. I'll show you that setup. 32 in Louisville now. Temperatures actually were very close to this yesterday morning, but it feels a little different when you have a clear sky versus overcast. You get flurries flying around, and you got a bit of a wind chill zipping on by. So it does make a difference to get back into a sunnier setup. Okay, clear on the radar. No flurries today. All those flurries, in fact, are way up here to the northeast. So what is this hidden danger? Well, you guys have probably already guessed it. And that is the idea that humidity levels are dropping. Humidity, unless there's some type of front involved that can disrupt it, humidity naturally raises at night and falls during the afternoon, especially between about 2 to 5 p.m. is at its lowest point in the day. And that's the reason why we get a lot of our high temperatures of the day happening in the afternoon when that humidity does drop. Well, this is an outlook for the potential setup on humidity levels this afternoon as we head into about 1 to 2 o'clock. And the darker the browns, getting into even the shade of gray that is mixed in, indicates very low humidity, very dry air, type of air. You touch a doorknob, shock yourself, shock your friends walking along a rug or a carpet, that type of setup today. And you can see that it's a little more prevalent, or will be, because this is a future cast look, especially in eastern Kentucky, into the Carolinas and into mountains. That is where the humidity levels will be at the lowest. Obviously, that's also, we have a lot of trees, of course, in the mountains. So fire danger a little elevated, but that's just not one step. You got to have the dry fuels at play. So vegetation, especially in the autumn season, a lot of the trees that die out and the leaves that fall and hit the ground, those become fuels. So the fire danger is much more of a problem in the late autumn season, early winter. In the middle of winter, not so much. You don't have much fuel. Cold temperatures are not going to help induce any type of fire whatsoever. So there's a lot working against into winter. But we're now in the spring. Now we're starting to get at least some of the trees begin to leaf back out once again, and humidity levels are dropping, so the fuels are there. But what the danger comes into play is the ability to carry any kind of fire whenever a fire does try to break out. And that in turn comes with the wind and the gusty winds. You can see the outlook today has a belt of wind that's moving in from Illinois and Indiana that's going to be sinking south into the Ohio River Valley this afternoon of gusts up to maybe 30 miles per hour. Now, remember what I just showed you on the previous map. The worst the humidity levels were found more here, but the strongest of the winds really don't move entirely in that zone. Some do, no doubt, some do, especially in northeast Kentucky into Ohio. But still, just be careful. Outdoor burning, pay extra attention. Please, let's hope nobody throws anything out the window driving down the road, because that one little spark can get out of control and grass fires can become a problem. All right, so just a reminder on that. There's no official red flag warning, which is to the level of critical when we start discussing fire danger. We're not to that level yet, but if that were to get issued today, we will let you know. All right, so we need some rainfall. All right, at least some to calm things down on that idea. It's not going to happen today. It's going to be nice and quiet today. Tomorrow, we have another front that'll drop in. It's a backdoor cold front, and notice there's not much rain or snow for that matter with this front. It's right through here. The clouds are about the only way we can really identify it, but it sinks in from the north. It, too, will have a lot of very low humidity behind it. Very low humidity and another round of gusty winds that'll be approaching from the north. I don't know if it'll be here in time, because this is a future cast for 6 p.m. tomorrow. So it may get here too late to really cause too much of a fire concern. But certainly for Indiana and Ohio, we'll need to watch you guys carefully for maybe 2 days in a row of that potential. All right, so when does the rain start? Well, it'll take a little bit of time. Low pressure eventually is going to try to scoot out as we head into late Thursday into Friday. Another cold night, by the way, Thursday night. Once we get into Friday, that's when we have a chance to get some scattered showers in the area. But it's not a slam dunk on rainfall. The low itself is generally south of us. There is another front to the north, and we're about in between. So we're kind of getting a squeeze play of in-between systems, but your better rain opportunity will be in the deep south. So rainfall. Sorry, I'm a FUD all of a sudden. Rainfall amounts roughly tenth to maybe 2/10 of an inch. Not very impressive. Some of the models are going like half inch of rain out of the system for Friday. I think that's going to be way on the higher end. I think the system is going to underperform on rainfall. So just a scattering of showers. So if you're worried about rain on Friday being a washout of a day and heavy rain or anything like that, or thunderstorms, yeah, Friday is not it. The placement here is not prime for that type of setup. Just more of a disruption, I guess, in our daily plans, dealing with some spotty showers and using the wipers every once in a while. It moves on by. That should allow, though, for a decent weekend. Clouds may linger a bit on Saturday early, but we'll gradually get sunny as Saturday evolves. Partly sunny on Sunday. The warmer of the 2 days will likely be on Sunday. Then we get into the dynamic setup for next week, which I alluded to in the post on trying to get into how next week's setup is going to look here. And it's still not locked in, but it is a very interesting setup. We have a low pressure that's going to be moving in across the southern plains and hit the brakes. There's a little bit of a block that is happening here. So the low pressure itself, especially on the Urals idea, slows down. The low will drift more into Canada. When it does so, it will take the cold front and do what we call a negative tilt. The low will bend backwards, and then you end up with a front that kind of moves in, and then the front kind of sweeps underneath the low pressure. When that happens, you can get stronger thunderstorms in some cases anyway, depending on the time of the day, that can develop. The Euro likes that idea, and it's shown it for the past couple of days. GFS, which I'm not going to have time to show you today, the GFS is more progressive. It has more just a low pressure, a line of rain, maybe some thunder, and it quickly moves it to the east on Monday. It's in here Monday. It's gone by Tuesday. Euro, because it's slower, takes its time. It wants to curl up the rainfall into Kentucky. It likes Tuesday more than Monday. And really, both days will get infected by the idea of rain and some thunder. Why does this matter? Well, the Euro idea would lead to a concern when it comes to showers and storms that could become strong, especially if it's in the heating of the day on Tuesday. We could jump into the 70s, and we could have something a little more pronounced on strong thunderstorms. Even just taking that off the table, it does look quite windy on Tuesday. So a very dynamic system, one we need to watch. Look at the snow being pulled down all the way in southern areas of Kansas and southwest Missouri. So this one's got a kick to it. One we got to watch. There's no outlook from the Storm Prediction Center yet, and there's really not a lot. The CSU, the Colorado State, does indeed have an outlook out for the system, and it does go all the way to about into wave country for a low and severe risk for this Monday and Tuesday. I didn't post it today because I forgot, but tomorrow I'll have it for you guys. But nothing that's off the charts right now that is overly alarming, but it is our next system of interest. But here's where it gets even more interesting. Are you ready for this? As the low pressure moves from the Midwest into, say, not far from Toronto and heading eventually into Quebec, with that curling that happens, it will help guide basically low pressure that is now in the Rockies producing snow at this point on Tuesday. It will help and guide it and allow it to go around the pathway. In other words, doing a roundabout into the southern part of the United States. It can't go due east because this one's blocking it, right? Our main low is in the way. So it has no choice but to follow on its tail and then wrap around. But also remember, there is a lot of activity in the Atlantic, so it can't really just go straight on out to sea. It has to move into the southern part of the United States and then start to make some type of a turn. Now, what makes that interesting is that as it does so, it will move on by, and then here we go. There's the dip that starts to form, and then it curls up and heads up the eastern seaboard. Now, this is a good track for an app runner when it comes to a late season snow, wet snow, especially for the mountains. GFS does not have this because, again, it's progressive with the idea. It doesn't see much of the block happening here in the Atlantic, so it takes everything west to east, boom, boom, boom. Boring, Anyway, so the Euro idea and the Canadian is interesting because the Canadian does a similar idea of a low pressure that is slow, has a bit of a negative tilt, brings in some rain, some thunder as we into Monday and Tuesday, but it has such a curl to it that this low pressure, when it moves around, it actually has a path more like this through Kentucky, and that would put the snow all the way back into Kentucky and Tennessee by the end of next week. Which one are you going to choose, snow lovers? Do you want option A or option B of something more to the west? There is an option C, which is none of these. Hi, Serenity. Hope all is well. Ashley, can we have normal storms? Yeah, we could. We could have some normal thunderstorms out of this. Again, severe weather, I don't know yet. There's no outlook again Monday and Tuesday, and I can see why. There's a lot of things missing for this. Mainly the timing and the track, but right now nothing that's overly alarming whatsoever. Okay, so C, 1A from Cheryl. You're welcome, Jamie. You're welcome. All right, so it looks like no one's ready for snow. You guys are over it, right? You're ready to this thing to be in, and let's get on with spring. I get you. All right. So anyway, that's the challenges for next week. First off, Monday into Tuesday. Do we have a low pressure that produces rain, thunder, and wind, maybe on the severe side? Again, that's our first challenge. The second challenge will be next Thursday, Friday, whether or not the second wave will avoid us and head up the eastern seaboard, still will allow for a chilly drop in temperature later next week, or will it become a little more of a pronounced southern low and we get into a wintry discussion at the end of next week. Those are the two challenges that we've got. This week, it's all about fire danger and a few showers on Friday. Easy. Next week, not so much. All right, that's where we stand, guys. Nothing too wild here today. I'm not going to get into a lot more in the longer term right now. We'll do that a little more as the week evolves. We got plenty of time. All right, it's a quiet week, and I'll get into more of the data that's showing up as we get closer to eclipse time as well. There's still a very active jet, very amplified jet for the first few couple of weeks there of April. But I am seeing, I will say this, and I'm not just trying to be a optimistic guy because, I'm always pessimistic. There is an opportunity to get a nice little gap that could form right at eclipse time. Wouldn't that be nice? So it's not all bad news right now. Easter would highly be depending on Who said that? Jacob. Easter will be highly dependent on what happens with that second low late next week. What happens here? If that moves in, does it impact us more to the west, or does it head more east? Either way, with it being like a Thursday or Friday that would be in the region, that typically would then mean a drier setup, maybe cool, but drier for Easter if everything's spaced out correctly, which is always a challenge. Dave and Gene, we'll buckle on our seatbelts and see what happens. Yeah, that's my motto. That's my motto. All right. Everyone looks good. Could you say snow again? My mom never believes me. Why don't you believe her, Mom? Yeah, but it could be snow somewhere on the globe. My diplomatic response. Don't you love that? Hey, I'm over it too. I got so many plants. I got to get my pond taken care of. My turtles are already up. They're way ahead of schedule being awake out from the bottom of the pond. So they're like looking around like, okay, where are all the lily pads? Where are all the beautiful plants? Where's the waterfall that I love to, wash my shell in? So there's a lot I need to take care of too in the yard. So I get it. We just need the weather to cooperate and lock in. But we know around here that takes some time. All right, I'm going to end it there for now. As always, appreciate you guys watching. I know it's kind of a short one, but that's the way the cookie's rolling here today. And keep it on the fire danger. We'll be doing that, and we'll have updates throughout the day on that setup. And we'll talk a little more about the potential weather drama for next week coming up tomorrow. Take care.